The war ended not with negotiation or compromise, but with complete human victory. Admiral Sunwoo stood on the bridge of the captured Confederation flagship Eternal Peace, looking out at the remnants of what had once been the galaxy's most powerful military force. Broken alien ships drifted in the darkness around Earth, their hulls split open like broken eggs. The galaxy had learned what happened when you voted to invade a death world. The death world voted back, and its vote was final. In the crystalline halls of the Galactic Confederation, the same chamber where 847 civilizations had confidently voted to invade Earth, now trembled in silence. Ambassador Insu, humanity's first diplomatic representative to the galaxy, walked slowly down the central aisle where Veltar had once presented his case for invasion. The alien representatives cowered in their floating chairs as Insu reached the speaking platform. Many of them had never seen a human in person before. They had expected to meet primitive savages. Instead, they faced a being whose calm demeanor somehow made him more terrifying than any alien warlord. Representatives of the Galactic Confederation, Insu began, his voice carrying clearly through the vast hall. Several weeks ago, you voted to invade my world. You voted 847-1 to bring your version of civilization to Earth. He paused, letting the silence stretch until it became unbearable. That vote has been overturned. The holographic display behind him came to life, showing images that made the alien representatives gasp in horror. Hundreds of their ships destroyed, thousands of their soldiers captured or killed, their most powerful fleet scattered across space like dust in the wind. You thought humans were primitive because we fought wars. Insu continued. You were wrong. We're dangerous because we win wars. Every single one of them. Veltar, the Eldrani representative who had first proposed the invasion, stood on trembling legs. What do you want from us? He whispered. Insu's expression didn't change. We want assurance that this will never happen again. We want a new galactic order where Deathworld species are respected, not attacked. And we want you to understand that humanity is no longer asking for a place in your civilization. He gestured to the display, which now showed human ships positioned around dozens of alien worlds. We're taking it, General. Dongmin established the Terran Protectorate from his new headquarters on what had once been the alien fortress, world of Kepler Prime. The massive alien base had surrendered, without firing a shot when human forces arrived. Now it served as the central command for Earth's expansion into the galaxy. Send messages to all species that were coerced into supporting the invasion, Dongmin ordered his staff. Offer them defensive alliances. Let them know that humans make better allies than enemies. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Dozens of smaller species that had been forced to vote for invasion now begged for human protection. They had seen what happened to those who threatened Earth, and they wanted to be on the winning side. Captain Taimin, now promoted to Admiral, oversaw the establishment of human monitoring stations throughout the local sector. Earth would never again be caught unprepared. Human sensors now watched every hyperspace route, every trade lane, every communication network. How many monitoring stations are we building? His aide asked. As many as we need, Taimin replied. Every alien ship that moves through this sector will be watched. Every communication will be monitored. Every weapon will be tracked. He looked out at the construction ships building humanity's new network of bases. The aliens wanted to bring civilization to us. Instead, we're bringing security to the galaxy, whether they want it or not. Dr. Mi Young now headed Earth's new Department of Galactic Relations, working from an office that had once belonged to the Confederation's Supreme Chancellor. The irony wasn't lost on her that humans now occupied the very centers of alien power. A priority message arrived on her desk from the far reaches of the galaxy. Another species, the Helix Collective, was requesting Earth's assistance against invaders from outside their local cluster. Mi Young smiled as she read the message. Word was spreading across the galaxy. If you needed protection from aggressive species, you called the humans. Earth had become the galaxy's ultimate security force. She forwarded the message to Admiral Bora with a simple note. Another client requesting our services. Admiral Bora stood in her new command center built into what had been the Confederation's primary military base. From here, she could coordinate human forces across dozens of star systems. The galaxy was learning that humans didn't just defend their own territory. They defended anyone who asked for their help, and they destroyed anyone who threatened their allies. Send the Fourth Fleet to assist the Helix Collective, she ordered. And make sure they understand the terms of our protection. Her aide looked confused. Terms, Admiral? Bora's expression was grim. If we protect you, you follow our rules. No unprovoked aggression. No attacks on civilian populations. No votes to invade other worlds. The galaxy is going to learn to behave itself. She looked out at the display showing human fleets spreading across known space. We tried being peaceful. We tried minding our own business. That didn't work. So now we're going to bring peace to the galaxy the only way that works, through superior firepower. The Galactic Confederation's new charter was written in both alien script and human text. The document that had once governed 848 civilizations now included amendments that made every species' priorities crystal clear. Article 1 read simply, "Never vote to invade a death world. The death world votes back." Article 2 was even more direct. All military actions must be approved by Terran Command. Violation of this article constitutes an act of war against Earth and all human-protected territories. The final article made Earth's new role unmistakable. Humanity assumes responsibility for galactic security and peace enforcement. This responsibility is non-negotiable and permanent. Veltar stood before Insu in the Confederation Assembly Hall, holding the new charter with shaking hands. "You're turning the entire galaxy into your empire," he whispered. Insu shook his head. "We're not building an empire. We're building a civilization that doesn't vote to exterminate entire species because they look different." He gestured to the alien representatives around them. "You had thousands of years to create a peaceful galaxy. Instead, you created a system where 847 civilizations could vote to destroy one world they didn't understand. That system failed." His voice carried across the hall, reaching every alien present. "So now humans will create a new system. One where aggressive species are contained, peaceful species are protected, and Death World civilizations are respected." Admiral Sun Wu received reports from across the galaxy as human influence spread. Former Confederation military bases were being converted into human command centers. Alien species that had never heard of Earth were requesting human protection. Trade routes that had been unsafe for centuries were now patrolled by human ships. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving surrender offers from 12 more species. They want to join the Terran Protectorate voluntarily." Sun Wu nodded. "Accept their surrender. Send protection fleets to their home systems, and make sure they understand the rules." He looked out at the stars, knowing that human ships were now moving through hyperspace toward dozens of worlds. The galaxy was vast, but humans had time. They had patience. And they had the one thing that no other species possessed, the absolute determination to win. The final scene played out in the same crystalline hall where the invasion had been voted. But now the chamber served a different purpose. Instead of voting to destroy worlds, the assembled species voted to accept Earth's protection. The vote was unanimous, 847 to 0. The single abstention was no longer needed. The Void Watchers had joined humanity, recognizing fellow survivors of Death World evolution. Ambassador Insu stood at the same podium where Veltar had once called for Earth's destruction. But his message was different. "The age of unprovoked aggression is over," he announced to the assembled galaxy. "The age of voting to invade peaceful worlds has ended. The age of threatening species you don't understand is finished." He paused, looking out at representatives from across the galaxy. Some looked relieved, others looked terrified. All looked respectful. "Welcome to the age of human protection," Insu concluded. "We hope you enjoy the peace." Outside the hall, human ships patrolled the space lanes. Human bases monitored every communication. Human soldiers stood ready to defend any species that requested their aid. The galaxy had voted to invade Earth because they thought humans were primitive and weak. Now the galaxy lived under human protection because they had learned that humans were the most advanced and powerful species in existence, the Death World had spoken. And the galaxy would never forget what it had said. The remnants of the alien invasion fleet fled in panic across the solar system. But Admiral Bora wasn't content to simply defend Earth. She had learned long ago that the best defense was a complete offense. Her ships pursued the alien survivors like wolves hunting wounded prey. "No alien vessel leaves this system alive," she commanded.
"They came here to destroy our world."
Now they learn what it means to threaten humanity. The human fleet spread out across the solar system, hunting down every enemy ship. This wasn't a battle anymore. It was an extermination. The aliens had voted to invade Earth, and now they were learning that Deathworlders didn't just fight to survive. They fought to ensure their enemies could never threaten them again. Captain Ye-jin commanded the stealth ship Ghostwalker, a vessel designed to be completely invisible to alien sensors. While the main fleet destroyed enemy ships in open battle, she had a different mission: intelligence gathering. Her ship slipped undetected into the alien communication networks, listening to their desperate messages. What she heard made her smile coldly. "Admiral Bora," she reported over secure channels. "The aliens are calling for massive reinforcements from the Galactic Core. They're telling their government that Earth is not what they expected." Intelligence officer Seo Jun worked beside her, translating alien communications in real time. He had spent years learning alien languages, preparing for this day. "They're describing us as uncontainable aggressive entities and technological adaptive killers," he reported. "They're requesting immediate military support from all Confederation worlds." Bora listened to the reports with grim satisfaction. "How long until these reinforcements arrive?" 2 weeks, maybe 3, Ye-jin replied. "But Admiral, they're not sending a small fleet. They're sending everything they have. Ships from 100 worlds, millions of soldiers." "Good," Bora said quietly. "Let them come. It's time the galaxy learned what humans are really capable of." The reinforcement fleet that emerged from hyperspace near Earth was the largest military force in galactic history. Ships from dozens of species filled the darkness, their combined firepower capable of destroying entire solar systems. At their head flew the massive dreadnought Eternal Peace, flagship of the Confederation's Supreme Admiral Corvash. But as the alien reinforcements arrived, they found something impossible waiting for them. Admiral Kyung-soo commanded humanity's deep space fleet, ships that had been built not just to defend Earth but to fight wars among the stars. These vessels represented humanity's true technological achievement. Weapons platforms designed by minds that understood that peace was only possible through overwhelming strength. The alien reinforcements had expected to find a small, desperate human fleet defending a single planet. Instead, they found a military force that filled multiple star systems, ships that had appeared seemingly from nowhere, and weapons that defied every law of civilized warfare. "How is this possible?" Admiral Corvash demanded from his command bridge. "Our intelligence said they were barely capable of interplanetary travel." His tactical officer stared at her sensors in disbelief. "Sir, I'm reading human ships positioned throughout this entire star system. They have weapons platforms around every planet, hidden bases in asteroid fields, and fleets stationed behind every moon." Corvash reviewed the reports with growing dread. The humans hadn't just been defending their homeworld. They had been preparing to fight a war that would span the galaxy. For decades, they had been building ships, training soldiers, and developing weapons while the aliens thought they were primitive savages. Tactical Officer Subin coordinated the human response from her command ship. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships used gravity wells as weapons, steering asteroids into alien formations. They used solar flares as cover, hiding their attacks behind the fury of their own star. "Target their command vessels first," Subin ordered. "Cut off their leadership and the rest will fall apart." But the humans didn't stop there. They had learned to use the cosmos itself as a battlefield. Human ships hid behind planets, then used orbital mechanics to slingshot themselves at incredible speeds toward enemy targets. They triggered solar storms that disrupted alien communications across multiple star systems. The aliens watched in horror as humans fought a battle that spanned entire regions of space. Every celestial body became a weapon. Every natural phenomenon became a tool of war. On the alien flagship, a communication came through that would change everything. It was from the mysterious Void Watchers, the only species that had abstained from the vote to invade Earth. Dr. Wu Jin received the message first. A strange ancient voice spoke directly into his mind. "Human scientist, we must speak. We are the only species to have encountered another Deathworld civilization before yours." The communication was routed to Admiral Bora's command center. What appeared on screen was a being unlike any other in the galaxy, ancient, scarred, and carrying weapons that looked as dangerous as anything humans had built. "We are the Void Watchers," the being said. "We tried to warn the Confederation, but they would not listen. We are the only other species to evolve on a world that tried to kill us every day." Bora stared at the screen. You're from a death world too? Once, long ago, our world was destroyed in a war with species much like these aliens. We learned too late that civilized beings cannot understand what it means to fight for survival. They make the same mistake your enemies made. They believe that because we seem peaceful, we are weak. The Void Watcher's image showed scenes of ancient battles, wars fought across galaxies, civilizations that had made the same mistake the Confederation was making now. What happened to the species that attacked you? Bora asked. The Void Watcher's expression was grim. They no longer exist. When you attack a Deathworld species, you force them to become what they truly are, the ultimate predators in the galaxy. Commander Gildong led the final assault on Admiral Korvash's flagship. His boarding party moved through the massive alien vessel like a force of nature, their weapons and tactics perfected by millions of years of evolutionary warfare. The alien crew had never faced humans in close combat. They surrendered rather than fight beings who seemed to view death as just another tool to be used when necessary. Within hours, the entire alien command structure had collapsed. Admiral Korvash found himself standing before Gildong in his own command center, surrounded by human soldiers whose eyes showed no mercy. Your species voted to invade our world, Gildong said quietly. That was a mistake. Humans don't just fight to defend ourselves. We fight to make sure our enemies never threaten us again. Korvash looked around at his captured ship, his defeated fleet, his broken forces. What do you want from us? He asked. Unconditional surrender, Gildong replied. Complete withdrawal from our space, and a guarantee that no alien force will ever threaten Earth again. And if we refuse? Gildong's smile was colder than the vacuum of space. Then you'll learn what happens when a death world goes to war across the galaxy. We'll hunt down every ship, every base, every world that supported this invasion. We'll show the entire Confederation what it means to threaten humanity. The battle was over, but the war was just beginning. The aliens had learned that they couldn't defeat Earth through direct assault. Now they would have to live with the consequences of awakening the most dangerous predators the galaxy had ever known. Admiral Bora stood in her command center, looking out at the wreckage of 2 alien fleets. Around Earth, space was filled with the debris of ships from 100 worlds. The message was clear. This was what happened to anyone who threatened humanity. But she knew the real war was yet to come. The aliens would try other tactics. They would attempt to unite the entire galaxy against Earth. They would seek allies, build new weapons, and develop strategies to contain the human threat. That was fine. Humans had been preparing for a galactic war their entire existence. Now finally they had one. The Death World had spoken and its voice echoed across the galaxy. The age of human expansion was about to begin. The battle moved beyond Earth's orbit as human forces pushed the alien fleet deeper into space. What had started as an alien invasion was quickly becoming a human hunting expedition. Captain Jinnah led a fleet of converted mining ships, massive vessels that had been built to crack asteroids and harvest resources from dead worlds. But Jinnah had found a better use for them. Target the asteroid field near Jupiter, she commanded. Load the mining charges and prepare for bombardment. Her ships moved to the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, where thousands of rocks floated in the darkness. The aliens watched in confusion as human mining vessels began attacking the asteroids with their industrial equipment. Then they understood. The humans weren't mining. They were making weapons. Jinnah's ships used their massive excavation beams to carve chunks of rock the size of buildings. Then they loaded these chunks into magnetic launchers and fired them at the alien fleet. Each piece of asteroid became a kinetic weapon traveling at incredible speed. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Humans were literally throwing planets at them. Evasive maneuvers, screamed alien captains as building-sized rocks smashed into their ships. Their energy shields meant nothing against solid matter moving at orbital speeds. Ship after ship was crushed by the human bombardment. On Earth, General Dongmin prepared the planet's surface defenses. Every city had been turned into a fortress. Every civilian had been trained to fight. The aliens would find no easy targets on the human homeworld. Activate the Continental Defense Grid, Dongmin ordered. Across Earth's surface, hidden weapons emerged from disguised buildings and underground bunkers. Missile launchers rose from fake shopping centers. Laser cannons emerged from church towers. Railgun batteries revealed themselves in city parks. The aliens had expected to find a primitive world defended by a small military. Instead, they found a planet where every man, woman, and child was a potential soldier, and every building was a potential weapon. In the alien fleet, Admiral Cricksnall stared at intelligence reports that made no sense. This says their entire population is mobilized for war. Their children are trained to use weapons. Their elderly are manning anti-aircraft guns. What kind of species does this? His intelligence officer, a nervous creature with 6 eyes, trembled as he spoke. Sir, I've been studying their history. They've been fighting wars for their entire existence, not just with other species but with each other. They've never known real peace. Cricksnall reviewed the files with growing horror. Humans had fought wars that lasted decades. They had created weapons capable of destroying their entire planet. They had survived disasters that would have ended other civilizations. They don't fight wars, he whispered. They are war. Lieutenant Colonel Unji had discovered something that would break alien morale completely. Human intelligence had been intercepting alien communications since the invasion began. Now she was going to use that information as a weapon. Begin psychological warfare protocol, she ordered her communications team. Across the alien fleet, personal messages began appearing on individual screens. Messages that should have been private, secure communications between alien commanders and their families back home. But the humans had edited these messages, changing them to show alien commanders panicking, admitting defeat, begging their families for forgiveness for leading their people into disaster. The effect was devastating. Alien crew members saw their own leaders supposedly breaking down in fear. Morale collapsed as soldiers began to believe their commanders had lost faith in the mission. How do they know our private channels? Alien officers asked each other. How long have they been listening to us? The answer was simple. Humans had been preparing for this war since first contact. They had studied every alien species, learned their languages, and infiltrated their communications. The aliens thought they were fighting primitives, but they were actually fighting an enemy that knew them better than they knew themselves. The aliens attempted orbital bombardment, hoping to break human resistance by attacking their cities. But engineer So Young had prepared for this possibility. Deep beneath Earth's surface, massive generators came online. These machines had been built over decades, converting the planet's core heat into defensive energy. As alien bombardment beams struck Earth's atmosphere, they met shields powered by the planet itself. Impossible, alien weapons officers screamed. They've turned their entire planet into a shield generator. The bombardment beams bounced off Earth's atmosphere like light reflecting from a mirror. Some of the reflected energy even struck alien ships, damaging the very vessels that had fired the shots. So Young stood in her underground control center, watching the shield readings. You want to attack our planet? She said quietly. Our planet fights back. Fighter pilot Jun Ho received what should have been a suicide mission. Fly directly into an alien dreadnought's main weapon array and disable it from the inside. The alien ship was the size of a small city, armed with guns that could destroy moons. This is insane, his wingman said over the radio. Their main guns will vaporize us before we get close. Not if we're smart about it, Jun Ho replied. Mi-young calculate a trajectory that uses their own weapons against them. His fighter's AI ran millions of calculations in seconds. I have a solution, Mi-young announced. But it requires flying directly into their main cannon as they fire. Jun Ho smiled. Perfect. That's exactly what they won't expect. He accelerated toward the alien dreadnought, timing his approach to arrive just as their massive main gun was charging. The alien saw him coming and tried to destroy him with smaller weapons, but Jun Ho's fighter was too small and fast. As the alien main gun fired its planet-killing beam, Jun Ho flew directly into the energy discharge. Instead of destroying him, the massive amount of energy supercharged his ship's engines, launching him at impossible speed directly into the alien weapon array. His fighter smashed through the alien gun systems like a bullet through glass. The massive weapon exploded, taking half the alien ship with it. Jun Ho's fighter emerged on the other side, somehow intact, leaving the alien dreadnought crippled and helpless. How is this possible? The alien captain screamed. No one survives direct contact with a Starkiller beam. But Jun Ho was already gone, looking for his next target. Humans didn't just survive impossible situations. They used them as opportunities. Back on Earth, Dr. Wu Jin continued his educational broadcast to the alien fleet. You're probably wondering how we keep doing impossible things. Let me tell you about human evolution. Images of Earth's prehistoric past appeared on alien screens. Massive predators hunting early humans, ice ages that covered continents, volcanic explosions that blacked out the sky. For millions of years, Earth tried to kill us. Predators hunted us. Weather froze us. Diseases infected us. Disasters destroyed our homes. Only humans who could adapt to anything survived long enough to have children. The aliens watched in growing horror as they saw what had shaped humanity. Other species had evolved on worlds where cooperation and intelligence were enough to survive. Humans had evolved on a world where only the most ruthless and adaptable creatures lived. We learned to use everything as a weapon, Dr. Wu Jin continued. Rocks became hammers. Sticks became spears. Fire became a tool of war. We turned the very forces that tried to destroy us into instruments of survival. The alien fleet was falling apart. Ships fled in every direction, their crews terrified by an enemy they couldn't understand. The humans pursued them relentlessly, destroying any vessel that couldn't escape fast enough. Admiral Sun Wu stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching alien ships scatter like frightened animals. "Send a message to all human forces," he ordered. "Pursue and destroy. Show no mercy to those who would invade our home." The hunt continued across the solar system. Human ships chased alien vessels past Mars, through the asteroid belt beyond Jupiter's moons. Everywhere the aliens ran, humans followed. This wasn't just a battle anymore. It was an execution. The galaxy had voted to invade Earth. Now Earth was showing them the price of that vote, and the price was written in alien blood across the darkness of space. But Admiral Bo-Ra knew this was still just the beginning. The aliens would send reinforcements. They would call upon the entire Galactic Confederation to destroy humanity. That was fine. Humans had been waiting for a real fight their entire existence. The Deathworld was awake, and it was angry. The space around Earth became a battlefield like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Alien ships burned in the darkness while human vessels moved between them like deadly shadows. The Deathworld fleet had arrived, and the aliens were learning what real war looked like. Admiral Sun Wu stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching his ships tear through the alien formation. His vessel was massive, covered in weapons that fired solid metal projectiles at incredible speeds. The alien energy shields that had protected them for centuries were useless against kinetic weapons. "Target their command ships first," Sun Wu ordered. "Cut off their leadership and the rest will fall apart." His weapons officer, Lieutenant J-Ho, nodded and targeted the largest alien vessel. The Indomitable's main railgun charged with a sound like thunder. When it fired, the metal slug traveled so fast that it appeared as just a flash of light. It hit the alien command ship and went completely through it, leaving a hole the size of a building. Captain Yun-Su commanded the destroyer Relentless, a smaller but incredibly fast ship designed for close combat fighting. While the aliens tried to fight from safe distances, she took her ship right into the middle of their formation. "All weapons, fire at will," she commanded. "Show these aliens what happens when you mess with Earth." The Relentless was built like a battering ram. Its front was covered in thick armor and its sides were lined with weapons. As it smashed through the alien lines, it fired in all directions, destroying everything around it. An alien cruiser tried to block its path, but Yun-Su didn't slow down. She aimed her ship directly at the alien vessel and kept accelerating. The aliens thought she was going to ram them and prepared for impact. At the last second, the Relentless fired all its forward weapons at once. The explosion created a gap in the alien ship's hull, and Yun-Su flew her destroyer right through it. The alien ship broke apart around her and she emerged on the other side already looking for her next target. "Impossible," screamed the alien captain as his ship fell apart. "No one flies like that." "They're all crazy." But the humans weren't crazy. They were just fighting the way Deathworlders had always fought, with no fear of death and absolute determination to win. Sergeant Nari led a boarding party onto a captured alien cruiser. While civilized species tried to avoid boarding actions, humans excelled at close-quarters combat. They had been fighting hand-to-hand for millions of years. The alien crew had never faced anything like human soldiers in their own ship. Nari and her team moved through the corridors like hunting animals, using weapons designed for maximum damage in small spaces. They carried shotguns that fired explosive shells, and knives that could cut through alien armor. The aliens tried to surrender, but the humans didn't stop. They had orders to capture the ship completely, and that meant removing all resistance. Within an hour, the entire alien crew was either dead or locked in their own prison cells. The security footage of the boarding action was automatically transmitted to the rest of the alien fleet. Alien commanders watched in horror as humans fought with a combination of high technology and primitive savagery that no civilized species would use. Dr. Wu Jin continued his broadcast to the alien fleet, his voice still calm and educational. You're probably wondering why we fight so differently than you do. Let me explain what it means to come from a death world. Images of Earth appeared on alien screens. Hurricanes that could level cities, earthquakes that could split continents, volcanoes that could change the climate of the entire planet. Every human alive today is descended from survivors, Dr. Wu Jin continued. For millions of years, only the strongest, smartest, and most adaptable humans lived long enough to have children. We are what evolution creates when survival requires constant warfare. On the alien flagship, Commander Zixandra watched her fleet falling apart around her. Ship after ship was either destroyed or captured. The human vessels moved with a speed and aggression that her people had never encountered. "How many ships have we lost?" she asked her tactical officer. 40% of the fleet is gone, Commander. The humans. They're not trying to disable our ships. They're trying to destroy them completely. Zixandra stared at the battle display. In civilized warfare, both sides tried to minimize casualties. Ships were disabled, not destroyed. Crews were captured, not killed. Wars ended when one side decided the cost was too high, but humans didn't fight civilized wars. They fought to win no matter what the cost. Commander Hyunwoo piloted a single fighter into the heart of the alien formation. His ship was tiny compared to the massive alien vessels around him, but size didn't matter when you had the right tactics and no fear of death. His ship's AI, programmed with the voice of Mi Young, calculated attack vectors that no sane pilot would attempt. "Hyunwoo, I'm detecting a weakness in their formation. If you fly directly through their crossfire, you can reach their command ship." "That's suicide," Hyunwoo replied. "Only if you fail," Mi Young answered. "But you're human. Humans don't fail when Earth is threatened." Hyunwoo smiled and pushed his fighter to maximum speed. He dove straight toward the alien command ship, flying through a storm of enemy fire that should have vaporized him. But he knew something the aliens didn't. Humans had been dodging death their entire evolutionary history. His fighter twisted and rolled through the enemy fire like a leaf in a hurricane. Alien gunners tried to track him, but he moved in patterns that their computers couldn't predict. He flew not like a machine, but like a living creature that refused to die. When he reached the alien command ship, he fired all his weapons at their main engines. The explosion disabled the massive vessel and sent it tumbling out of control. Then he turned around and flew back through the same storm of fire, somehow surviving what should have been impossible. Admiral Cricksnall watched from his own command ship as his forces collapsed around him. The confident invasion force that had entered Earth's system was being systematically destroyed by beings he had thought were primitive savages. "Sir," his communications officer said quietly, "we're receiving surrender offers from 12 of our ships. They want permission to retreat." Cricksnall stared at the battle display. More than half his fleet was gone. The humans showed no signs of stopping their attack. They fought like they would rather die than lose. "Denied," he said finally. "We came here to bring civilization to this world. We cannot retreat now." But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. The Galactic Confederation had made a terrible mistake. They had attacked a species that had been forged by millions of years of constant warfare. They had invaded a death world, and the death world was fighting back. On Earth, Admiral Bora watched the battle from her command center. The alien fleet was breaking apart, but she knew this was just the beginning. The aliens would send reinforcements. They would call for help from across the galaxy. "Send a message to all human colonies," she ordered. "Tell them to prepare for full mobilization. This isn't just about Earth anymore. The aliens have declared war on humanity itself." She looked at the display showing the burning alien ships around her planet. They wanted to see what Deathworlders could do. Now they know. But this is just the first lesson. The battle was far from over, but the first blood had been drawn. And it was alien blood that colored the space around Earth red. The galaxy was about to learn that when you vote to invade a death world, the death world votes back. And humans always voted for total victory. The first alien scout ships entered Earth's outer atmosphere like bright shooting stars. Their energy shields glowed blue against the darkness of space. Inside their ships, alien pilots felt confident and safe. Their shields had protected them in hundreds of battles across the galaxy. but they had never fought humans before. Dae-hyun sat in his stealth fighter, hidden in the shadow of a space station that the aliens couldn't see. His ship was painted black and covered with materials that absorbed radar. To the alien scouts, he was invisible. He watched 3 alien ships fly past him, their pilots talking casually on their radios. They thought they were alone in the empty space around Earth. Dae-hyun smiled and powered up his weapons. Unlike alien weapons that fired energy beams, human weapons were different. They fired solid metal bullets at incredible speeds. The aliens had never seen anything like them. Dae-hyun's first shot hit the lead scout ship. The metal bullet went right through the energy shield like it wasn't there. The alien ship exploded in a ball of fire. The other 2 ships spun around looking for their attacker, but Dae-hyun was already moving. His second and third shots destroyed the remaining scouts before they could even send a warning message. In less than 30 seconds, 3 alien ships were gone, and their fleet had no idea what had happened. On Earth, Minho stood in the command center that controlled humanity's secret defense network. He was the planet's chief of defense, a job that nobody knew existed until today. For 50 years, humans had been building weapons in space, hiding them where aliens couldn't see them. Activate the Sol Defense Network, Minho ordered. Across the solar system, hidden bases came to life. Weapons platforms disguised as asteroids powered up their guns. Missile bases built inside real asteroids opened their doors. Satellites that looked like space junk suddenly revealed massive weapons. The aliens had thought Earth was defended by a few small ships and some ground-based missiles. Instead, they found themselves flying into the most heavily defended system in the galaxy. Every piece of rock, every satellite, every space station was a weapon waiting to strike. On the alien flagship, Commander Zixandra stared at her sensors in confusion. Her screens showed thousands of new contacts appearing around Earth. Weapons were powering up everywhere. The primitive humans had turned their entire solar system into a fortress. "This is impossible," she whispered. "Our intelligence said they were barely able to reach their own moon." Her weapons officer looked up from his station, his face pale with fear. "Commander, I'm reading weapon signatures unlike anything in our database. These aren't energy weapons. They're something else." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Haijin was leading her wing of attack fighters toward the alien vanguard. Her 12 ships were tiny compared to the massive alien vessels, but that didn't matter. Humans had learned long ago that size wasn't everything in a fight. "Remember your training," she told her pilots over the radio. "These aliens fight like gentlemen. They keep their distance, they fire in turns, they try to minimize damage. We don't." Her fighters dove straight into the alien formation like angry wasps. Instead of staying at long range, they flew right up to the alien ships and fired at point-blank range. The aliens were so shocked that several of their ships crashed into each other, trying to avoid the tiny human fighters. One of Haijin's pilots, Sang-min, flew his fighter directly at an alien cruiser's bridge. The aliens thought he was going to crash into them and kill himself. Instead, he fired all his weapons at once, then used the explosion to boost his speed and escape. The alien ship was left burning and helpless. "Insane," screamed the alien captain. "These humans are insane." But Haijin wasn't done. When her fighter ran out of ammunition, she didn't retreat like a civilized pilot would. Instead, she aimed her ship at an alien destroyer and prepared to ram it. The aliens watched in horror as she came straight at them, ready to die if it meant taking them down with her. At the last second, she ejected from her fighter. The empty ship smashed into the alien vessel and exploded, taking out their main weapons. Haijin floated in space for only a few seconds before another human ship picked her up. The aliens couldn't understand it. What kind of species was willing to destroy their own ships just to win a battle? Deep in space, Admiral Sunwoo received the order he had been waiting for his entire life. "Admiral, you are cleared to release the Deathworld fleet." Behind Jupiter's largest moon, massive doors opened in what the aliens had thought was just another asteroid. But it wasn't an asteroid. It was the largest space dock ever built, hidden in the shadow of the giant planet. One by one, enormous human warships emerged from the dock. These weren't the small fighters and patrol boats that the aliens had expected. These were true warships built in secret over decades, designed for one purpose: to destroy anyone who threatened Earth. The flagship was called Indomitable, and it was twice as large as the alien command ship. Its weapons were not the energy beams that civilized species used. Instead, it carried railguns that could fire metal slugs at nearly the speed of light. and missiles that could track targets across solar systems. Admiral Sunwoo stood on the bridge of his ship, looking out at the alien fleet. He was an old man who had spent 40 years preparing for this day. He had studied every alien species, every ship design, every battle tactic. He knew exactly how aliens fought their wars. And he knew that humans fought very differently. "Send a message to all ships," he ordered. "The aliens voted to invade our world. Today we show them what Earth votes for in return." The Deathworld fleet moved toward the alien formation like a pack of wolves. The aliens saw them coming and tried to form a defensive line, the way civilized species always did. They spread their ships out evenly, powered up their shields, and prepared for a long-range gun battle. But the humans didn't stop at long range. They kept coming, faster and faster, until they were close enough to see the enemy ships with their own eyes. Then they opened fire with everything they had. Dr. Wu Jin watched the battle from Earth's command center. He was a scientist who had studied alien biology for years. Now he was helping the military understand how alien minds worked. "They're confused," he told Admiral Bora. "They don't understand our tactics. In their wars, both sides try to minimize damage. They fight until one side gives up, then they negotiate. They've never seen total war before." Bora nodded. "Send them a message. Let's help them understand what they're facing." Dr. Wu Jin activated the communication system and sent a signal to the entire alien fleet. "This is Dr. Wu Jin of Earth. You voted to invade our world because you thought we were primitive. But did you study what it means to come from a death world?" His voice was calm and educational, like a teacher explaining something to students. "Every day on Earth something tries to kill us. Storms, earthquakes, diseases, predators. We survived ice ages that would have destroyed your civilizations. We survived volcanoes that blocked out the sun. We survived plagues that killed half our population." The aliens listened in growing horror as he continued. "You evolved on safe worlds where cooperation was enough to survive. We evolved on a world that only let the strongest live. You learned to share and negotiate. We learned to fight and win." On the alien flagship, Commander Zixandra stared at her battle reports. Half her fleet was already damaged or destroyed. The humans weren't just fighting to defend their world. They were fighting to completely destroy every enemy ship. "Commander," her communications officer said quietly, "the humans, they're not taking any prisoners. They're not offering to negotiate. They're just killing everything." Zixandra looked out at the battle and realized the terrible truth. The Galactic Confederation had made a mistake. They hadn't invaded a primitive world. They had invaded Hell, and Hell was fighting back. The Great Hall of the Galactic Confederation sparkled with 1,000 different lights. Beings from across the galaxy sat in floating chairs, their various forms creating a rainbow of colors and shapes. At the center of the massive chamber, a tall, thin alien with blue skin stepped forward. His name was Veltar, and he represented the peaceful Eldrani people. "Fellow beings of the Confederation," Veltar began, his voice echoing through the hall. "Today we discuss a world called Earth, a world filled with savage creatures who call themselves humans." The holographic display behind him came to life, showing images of Earth. But these were not normal images. They showed wars, destruction, and chaos. They showed humans fighting each other with terrible weapons. They showed cities burning and people running in fear. "Look at these beasts," Veltar continued. "They have turned their own world into a battlefield. They kill each other over resources, land, and ideas. They poison their own air and water. They are nothing but animals who learn to use tools." Murmurs spread through the hall. Many of the aliens had never seen such violence. Most species in the galaxy had evolved on peaceful worlds where cooperation was the key to survival. The idea of constant warfare was alien to them. Admiral Crixnell of the powerful Hegemony fleet stood up next. His forearms moved as he spoke, his red eyes blazing with conviction. "These humans are a threat to galactic peace. They will spread their violence to other worlds if we do not stop them. It is our duty to bring civilization to their barbaric world." More images flashed on the screen. Humans destroying forests, polluting oceans, and building massive weapons. The aliens in the hall gasped in horror at what they saw. "Their technology is primitive," Crixnell added. "Their ships are slow and clumsy. Their weapons are crude. We can easily defeat them and teach them proper ways to live." One by one, representatives from different worlds stood to speak. All agreed that Earth was dangerous. All agreed that humans needed to be controlled. The vote was called and the result was overwhelming. 847 civilizations voted to invade Earth. Only the mysterious Void Watchers chose not to vote, remaining silent in their dark corner of the hall. Far away from the galactic center, Captain Taman sat in his monitoring station on the edge of Earth's solar system. His job was to watch for any ships coming from deep space. It was usually a quiet job. Most aliens avoided the outer rim of the galaxy, but today was different. His sensors began to beep rapidly. Then they started screaming warnings. Hundreds of alien ships were approaching the solar system. No, not hundreds. Thousands. Taman's hands moved quickly over his controls, sending emergency signals to Earth. His message was simple, but terrifying. Massive alien fleet approaching. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. On Earth, Admiral Bo-Ra received the message in her secret command center buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and gray hair, but her voice carried the authority of someone who had prepared for this day her entire life. "Alert all stations," she commanded. "Begin Protocol 7. Wake up the fleet." Around her, dozens of officers began working at their stations. Lights flashed red as Earth's hidden defenses came online. For decades, humanity had been preparing for this moment. They knew that first contact with aliens might not be peaceful. In another part of the command center, Ji-Woo studied the incoming fleet data. She was Earth's best military strategist, a young woman whose mind worked like a computer. She looked at the numbers and smiled coldly. "They're coming in standard formation," she told her team. "Spread out in a line, energy shields forward, weapons charging slowly. They think we're going to fight like civilized beings." Her assistant looked confused. "Isn't that how space battles are supposed to work?" Ji-Woo's smile grew wider. "Not when you're fighting humans. Send a message to all fleet commanders. Tell them the aliens are about to learn what a death world really is." Back in space, the alien fleet moved slowly toward Earth. They were confident and relaxed. Their scouts had reported that human technology was primitive. Their weapons were simple. Their ships were small and weak. Admiral Crixnall stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the small blue world ahead. "Such a pretty planet," he said to his officers. "It will be even prettier once we remove the violence from it." His communication officer looked up from her station. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the planet." "Put it through," Crixnall ordered. A human face appeared on the screen. It was Admiral Bo-Ra, looking calm and serious. "This is Admiral Bo-Ra of the Terran Defense Corps. You have entered our solar system without permission. Turn around and leave now." Crixnall laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Little human, you are in no position to make demands. We are here to bring peace to your violent world. Surrender now and we will be gentle." Bo-Ra's expression didn't change. "I'm giving you one last warning. Leave our system now or we will be forced to defend ourselves." "With what?" Crixnall asked, still laughing. "Your primitive weapons? Your tiny ships? We have studied your technology." "You are centuries behind us, have you?" Bo-Ra asked quietly. "Have you really studied us? Did you study what it means to come from a death world? Did you study what it means to be human?" Before Crixnall could answer, the transmission ended. He shrugged and turned to his weapons officer. "Begin the attack. Target their major cities first. Show them we mean business." But as the alien fleet moved closer to Earth, strange things began to happen. Their sensors started picking up energy readings that shouldn't exist. Their scans showed structures in space that hadn't been there moments before. And from behind the moon, something massive was moving. On Earth, Admiral Bo-Ra watched the alien fleet through her command center's main screen. Around her, hundreds of officers prepared for the battle of their lives. Deep in space, Captain Taman and thousands of other human pilots climbed into ships that had been hidden for decades. "They voted to invade us," Bo-Ra said quietly. "They think we're primitive savages who don't know how to fight." She paused, her eyes hard as steel. "They're about to learn that humans don't just know how to fight. We were born to fight. We were made by a world that tried to kill us every single day." She raised her hand, and across the solar system, weapons powered up. Hidden bases came online, and from the darkness of space, Earth's secret fleet began to move. "Let's show them what Deathworlders can do."